Let's take you to KZN now, where Transport Minister Sindisiwe Chikunga is leading a road safety campaign this morning. She's at the Mooi River Plaza on the N3 in KwaZulu-Natal. Traffic volumes are expected to peak as holidaymakers make their way back after the Easter long weekend. eNCA's Lethiwe Mdluli is at the toll plaza this morning and joins us live. A very good morning to you, Lethiwe. Give us a sense of the traffic volumes that you're seeing this morning, but also the kind of drive that the minister is leading this morning and what it is that she wants to get out of it.
Well, good morning, Rafia. Right now we are at the Mooi River Toll Plaza and I'll be joined by the National Transport Minister in a few. But what we have observed this morning is that there's not a lot of traffic for now, but we are expecting for traffic volumes to peak as people head to various provinces who had come to KwaZulu-Natal for the Easter long weekend. We're expecting for all those motorists to be making their way back to Gauteng, Free State and Mpumalanga using the N3. It is, of course, one of the busiest routes in the country, that it also connects KwaZulu-Natal to various other provinces. So of course we are expecting for numbers to go up by later today. But right now I'm joined by the Transport Minister Sindisiwe Chikunga. I want to bring her in and just basically talk about some of the things that they are doing today. Minister, thank you so much for joining us at eNCA. We know that you're leading a safety campaign this morning. Take us through what you've observed and what are you going to be telling motorists as they head back to their respective provinces.
Maybe one thing good about it is that many people are compliant in terms of traffic laws. However, there are those that are not complying with the traffic laws. Already we have arrested a driver who is driving with fraudulent driving license and a fraudulent car desk. Also, I think we've arrested two illegal immigrants who are here in South Africa illegally without any documents. We have a team that comprises of police, traffic officers, home affairs, immigration, and therefore we are a complete team. We have from the National Department of Transport, from the province department, from the district, from the municipality. And as you have indicated, today we're expecting that traffic volumes will increase. They've already started. Most of them will be going back to Gauteng for work, for home, for whatever. And some, of course, who had visited outside of the province, they are coming back to Durban, to Pietermaritzburg, to other towns here. So we're here to say to the people of South Africa, please observe the rules of the road. We can still save lives even today, so that busy as the roads will be, but we don't have to lose lives. So that is the purpose of this campaign. But of course, we are a government. We have the right to enforce the law. We have the authority to do that, and therefore we are going to enforce law. Where we have to arrest, we are arresting. Where we have to warn, we will warn. Where we have just to remind, we will remind. Just to say, please make sure that after 200 kilometers, rest. After 2 hours of driving, find space and rest by cold water or drink cold water. You take your time out of the car and then continue with the trip and be patient on the road. If somebody is driving slow, you can also drive slow. If there is anything you are supposed to stop your car. And that is the message, that we can actually restrain ourselves in doing wrong things on the road. And we want really to thank the South Africans, millions of them, who use our roads and they are compliant.
And Minister, of course, it was the Easter long weekend. During this time, we do see an increase in road fatalities and also road accidents as well. What have you observed these past 4 days?
I think what we actually have observed is exactly what I've said. There are people who, for instance, will do as they wish on the road. Yesterday, I was driving in Ladysmith, and somebody just parked the car in the middle of the road. We say, but you're blocking traffic. And then there were taxi people on the other side. They came to this car to say he's not going to move the car. Like, literally fighting. Unfortunately, it was at night and we were just two in the car, so we had to drive and leave them because we didn't know what they were going to do next. They were going to shoot or do whatever. We had to leave. But we can't have people who break the law with impunity, who decide that they can stop cars on the road, and they are not sure as to whether the other driver who's coming is able to see that there is a stationary car right in the middle of the road, and that can actually cause some accidents. So it's the attitude sometimes, it's the human factor that is responsible for many deaths. It's pedestrians that are also dying more. When they have arrived at their destinations, they then become pedestrians, they drink, then they walk on the road with dark clothing and so on and so forth. And we can reduce these fatalities because they cost a lot to their families, but they cost a lot to the economy of South Africa. The majority of them are young people, are educated, breadwinners from their families. They are boys, like the statistics are telling us that it will be a young boy, black, from university, employed, able to feed family. They are able to buy a car, to pay for the car, to drive the car, and then next thing they are dead. And I think it's something that the narrative that we need to change. And the abuse of alcohol and driving is also responsible for these things. The speed at which people drive on the roads is responsible for these things. It's not many of them, but the few that do it, they cost South Africa a lot, and they cost families a lot.
I know it's too early to be talking about statistics, but do you have any numbers for us at this point?
I will definitely not want to talk about numbers, but we're not doing well. If you compare to where we were last year and where we are today, we are above those figures. But we will definitely be releasing the statistics. I would not, for now, be talking about the statistics that has not been verified, but we're not doing well. For the mere fact that there are people that have died. Even if it was one, it would have been nice to have an Easter weekend without any death, because that can actually happen. It's possible. If you have so many millions of people and millions of cars that are on the roads and are still able to arrive alive at their destinations, it actually means that we could do it such that nobody dies on the road. It can be done. And that is what we're looking forward to as South Africa, that these long weekends, these holidays should not mean death. They shouldn't. They should mean vacation, they should mean happiness, they should mean worshipping God, but not death. And they should not be associated with death. But for now, the fact of the matter is that with the increased volumes of traffic, then we see a lot of deaths.
And lastly, MEC, you know, a lot of South Africans are always complaining about the state of our roads, especially when it comes to potholes. Some of these accidents are caused by those potholes. Any plans as to how you're going to be dealing with this? Because a lot of South Africans have been complaining for years.
When it comes to factors that contribute to road fatalities and road accidents, one, you have got the human factor. It accounts for 80%. And then you have got the engineering factor, the potholes and so on. They share in the 20%. And you have got the environmental factors like your weather and so on. They also share in that. So yes, I agree, the state of the road may also contribute. But if we were to have it right with the human factor, that accounts for more. The rest will be history. Because a person who is sober will be able to negotiate the pothole. That's a fact. A person who is sober and not speeding will be able to reduce the speed, even if the speed limit is 120. But if the environment says drive at 60% kilometers per hour, they will do that because they will be sober. But people who are drunk, they get into cars, they race on the road, and they kill people. So it's in the main, in South Africa, yes, I fully agree. Potholes are something that we need to deal with because honestly, either than accidents, they cost a lot for people's cars. They cost a lot for public transport, for taxis and so on. They will buy a taxi today, the following day is as old as the 2019 taxi. You know, so I think it's important that we address to that, and that is exactly what we will want to do as this government and this administration, to look at how best do we manage and maintain our roads, refurbish our roads, pave our roads. That is exactly what we'll be doing. But in the case of accidents, the main factor is human factor. It's the speeding, it's the driving, it's the under alcohol influence of alcohol. It's people who think because they've got cars, they can do as they wish. They will not obey any rule. It's people who drive without driving licenses. These are human factors. Is people who are illegal in South Africa who will do as they wish. It's people who decide to drive without number plates so that they can do as they wish. They hit people, they run, and it's therefore it's those factors. So the point I'm making is, yes, the engineering, yes, the environment, but of course the main one is human factor, and that is what we want to deal with.
Thank you so much, Minister.
Thank you very much.
So, Rafiwa, there you have it from the Minister of Transport, just basically taking us through what they are doing today in this road safety campaign. She is saying that they are encouraging road users to be careful as they head back home after the Easter long weekend. Of course, we will also be speaking to the NEC here in KwaZulu-Natal, because he's also the NEC for crime in this province. We want to see if there were any increases when it comes to crime in KwaZulu-Natal. And we will be following through to check whether the traffic volumes are increasing at this toll plaza, because it is the main route that majority of the motorists will be using to head back home.
Thank you very much for that update, Lethiwe Mdluli. Quite worrying that the minister says that the situation is not a great one when it comes to the behavior on the roads, but of course those statistics will come in as the long weekend winds down.